So you think that Trunks being here will continue to be a good thing. Hey folks, MasakoX here. Part 5 of this story has been something that's a long time coming, and a story that I didn't think would yield results for the long term. At first, it was a story that seemed cute on the surface, but it wouldn't really get anything concrete or juicy, other than some maybe awkward angst between a younger Bulma and Trunks. However, thanks to your collective minds out there for giving some impetus towards my cause, I've now realised that this can be a narrative which is both interesting, entertaining, and to boot, dire if things don't end up alright in the long run. In any case, all of this began due to a lot of fan interest in seeing how Trunks could screw up time more than he has already in the anime, manga, and in the video games many times. It's kind of his thing in those, isn't it? Here, it wasn't his fault. How unusual. This time out in the world of What If, we are seeing what could have happened if Trunks got to see his mother younger than he did in the original story, and in fact, younger than him, past Bulma, when she just met Goku and... yeah. As you might remember from the first 2 parts of this tale, it was very much a fun-loving, carefree adventure, which Trunks found himself stuck in the past with, and actually enjoyed seeing the past in really good form. But he did have to deal with the very real idea that his mother from another timeline, and from the past, had the hots for him. It wasn't all fumbling around for our adolescent adventurer though. Here, he got to see Goku, just about when he was embarking on his own mystical adventure, a very key point in history, and in turn, become the Saiyan's hero. But despite not getting the time right to deliver the antiviral medicine that would help in the long run, he was able to actually give the medicine anyway, just a bit earlier, but entrusting it to the young boy, telling him to guard it with his life, a sacred heirloom, and when the time came, he should take it, and it will save his life. By doing so now, it made sure that Goku here would definitely take the medicine, even if it was grape flavoured. He would do it for his hero, the hero of time. Trunks headed back to the future, and I thought things would have been okay, right? Well, no. In the last part, or 2, Devon and several of my viewers pointed out that there could easily be a continuation on the basis of the time machine, further complicating things and borking even more. Their example was to plonk Trunks down in the year of the 23rd martial arts tournament. It's a good idea actually, and thank you for that. In time, Trunks began to realise that he and his future Bulma's theory of time working in one complete line, as well as the art of causality in Dragon Ball, the Dragon World, didn't really apply, especially for their own timeline. If Goku got better and was able to fend off the androids, then Trunks and his mother should cease to be, as none of their original escapades with the androids would have occurred. But he was still here, and his memories were intact. Nothing had changed. Now, what's a boy to do when they realised that things were still the same and whatever they did didn't matter? Well, he got a bit carried away, as teenagers do. Throughout the 5 years before Raditz would show up, a common sight would make itself known in the valleys of Mount Paozu. Trunks and Goku would be training together and enjoying every second of it. Trunks got to enjoy it to be able to train with Goku and get to know him, and Goku enjoyed it because Trunks was strong and was his hero. A pregnant Chi-Chi and interested Ox King would watch the 2 of them go about their sparring, and the wife of Goku didn't really mind all of this too much. She and her father could very much tell that this Trunks boy, he was a good egg. He was very polite, courteous, and very keen to help with tidying things up after training was done, as well as preparing dinner. Trunks and Chi-Chi would do the dishes as Goku slept off the big meal, and the future boy would get a good insight into how Goku was as a person, and not just a legendary fighter. The fact that he would even help her without question, being a good boy, is something that eased the notion that Goku was on a dead-end path in life. Chi-Chi liked Trunks, and also, the idea that he died in the future Goku was something that put the wind up Chi-Chi's sails, and thusly she made sure that there was little conflict as possible between the 2 of them. Not necessarily letting him get away with everything that he would do, but at least being more aware of Goku as a person, instead of Chi-Chi trying to lambast him, shoehorning him into a role that he couldn't possibly live up to. Seriously, Chi-Chi here is a lot more chill. When Gohan then arrived, Trunks was very keen to play with him and ensure that he was kept safe from anything that dared harm him, and on occasion have him watch he and his father training as he played with his toys, exposing him to the world of martial arts. When it came down to the matter of education though, Trunks didn't get in the way of Chi-Chi's vision for her son, but at least got her to figure out and see for herself that his potential was incredible. It's about striking a balance, Chi-Chi. Gohan in my time, he was a remarkable hero and saved thousands of lives thanks to his power as well as intellect. You mean my boy will grow up to be a hero? A smart hero? Trunks nods, and this gets the idea into her head that maybe there could be some sort of equilibrium between scholarship and martial arts after all. There was a nagging voice in the back of Trunks' head telling him that he's doing way too much finagling with the past than was necessary. Right now, he was essentially letting the past copy his notes and not allowing them to make their own mistakes, their own destinies, choose their own paths. In times like those, he would try and tell his own consciousness that, oh, he's just trying to protect the future? But was he though? He wasn't protecting it really. He was just changing it into something else, ultimately. Something he wouldn't recognize. And then what? Despite this feeling of uncertainty, Trunks remained determined and remained in the past for the full 5 years, informing Goku about his brother arriving on the planet and increasing their training over that period. Piccolo would watch from afar and curse the boy's impertinence. He had gotten away far too often, and for now, it was best to train harder than ever in case he slipped up or suddenly disappeared, or the opportunity arose to do something dangerous. Krillin joined the party as he was curious to see how Trunks would develop and what his deal was about. Even Yamcha decided to step in and train, as he too was keen to mend the bridges between the pair of them, Trunks and Yamcha, now that he wasn't a threat to he and Bulma's relationship. I mean, yeah, he still doesn't know the true identity of Trunks' father though, and for now, it was best to keep it that way. When the time came and Raditz showed up on Earth, the situation was far more organized. The pod crash-landed on the land of the infamous father, and the brother of Goku stepped out to see not animals or an irate agriculturalist, but 4 men. 4 martial artists. That's right, the father shall live! Raditz hadn't yet checked his scouter, but he looked interested with this greeting party. Well, well, I didn't expect this planet to be having such efficient tech to be able to track my pod. And ah, yes, Kakarot! I would recognize your hair anywhere! Raditz stepped forward to shake his brother's hand, but the hand never presented itself. What's the matter? Don't you recognize your own brother? Thinking that this would jog memories, Raditz prepared himself for seeing Kakarot look utterly bewildered and pleased to see him, but again, that never happened. What's going on? Why aren't you all blown away with these revelations? Don't tell me that you are simple as well as incompetent! This planet should have been turned to dust by your hand, ready for Lord Frieza's propagation! What's going on here, Kakarot? He was getting extremely nervous now with all this silence and posturing. But eventually, though, Goku did step forward and speak. I know who you are. You're Raditz, my brother supposedly. A Saiyan. Goku said this coolly, and Raditz looked surprised this time, not his brother. How did he know all of this? His pod that he had when he was a baby wasn't equipped with all of this intel. It was rushed out of the scene really quickly. And as Raditz is being countered left, right and center with all of this intel, Piccolo is surveying the situation, realizing that he doesn't need to step in, but he's trying to come up with a plan all the same. But then it hits him. In his mind, he realizes what he can do. All of these bozos are distracted with this Saiyan and are keen to just talk to him. But the boy, Goku's boy, he's unprotected. He could kidnap the runt and perhaps use him as bargaining to get back at Trunks for daring to get in his way. In time, the boy maybe could become Piccolo's servant. And better still, the hero said that Gohan was meant for great things, so he was valuable. He could use that power to his own advantage. With his plan in motion, he suppressed his energy and quietly flew off to Goku's place to wait for the moment to pounce, which would come. As Piccolo flies off to Mount Paozu, Raditz is all the more confused with this confrontation. You mean to tell me that you know about me entirely, the mighty Raditz, and yet you still do not cower in my presence? Trunks steps forward, and his look is utterly piercing. It's you who should be cowering. Get off our planet. Now! Raditz then looked at the boy. Well, I mean, I'd say boy, it's been 5 years now. He's in his early 20s, but suddenly, his look turned to shock. That boy's face, there was no doubt about it. It looked like... Vegeta! On a distant planet, this got a certain prince's attention. Nappa was in the middle of loudly going on about what their next adventure would be, but the shorter Saiyan motions for him to shut up. Wait, Nappa! Cease your jabbering! Raditz said my name. Why would he do so? 3 of the 4 defenders of Earth thought nothing about this name. It meant nothing to them, but Trunks was steadfast. But your face! It looks just like... How is that possible? Shut up! I'm going to say this only one more time. Get out of here, or else we will all kill you. But don't you believe us? He points to his ear. Check your scouter. Raditz does so, and it's not good. The short one has a power of 2,000. The dude had 1,900. Kakarot's was 3,000, and the boy's was 5. 5? Are you for real? Your power level is only 5! How could you be so brash with such a meager power? But Trunks isn't deterred. He smiles again and cracks his neck in readiness. Because I'm not gonna be the one to wipe the floor with your sorry hide. With that, Goku, Krillin, and Yamcha rush Raditz and beat him to a pulp. Out in space, Vegeta is blown away with what's happening and the powers that were registered. This boy, who reminded Raditz of Vegeta, somehow, had managed to find Earthlings with that kind of power, and were now proceeding to deck Raditz in the schnoz? Interesting. Nappa, I think we've stumbled upon our next source of entertainment. Do you fancy checking it out? Nappa was ready for anything, so of course he would say yes. As Raditz laid there, battered and bruised, Trunks motioned for his friends to stop. It was clear that Raditz wasn't going to fight back. Trunks didn't know what come over him. In this moment, having all of this knowledge, being able to help in this manner was empowering. He had spent his whole life in the shadow of the androids, but here, he felt like a god. There was a part of him which cried out for him to stop this, stop interfering with the past like this, but he kept reminding himself that, in turn, this timeline meant nothing to his own. He could do what he wants. He could quit any time, once he had the fuel to go back into the future, right? Besides, he'd trained him more himself, and when he did return, he would be helping out his future. He would waste those androids in seconds. What's the problem? He had changed, but actually, not in a good way. Power corrupts. Tell you what, to your friends who are listening, bring it on. Goku was stunned at this bravado. I mean, sure, it was kind of cool to see, but Trunks was acting differently to the person that he remembered as a child. So kind, considerate, careful. This wasn't right. Raditz was absolutely scared out of his mind with all the energy that he could muster. He clambered back into the Saiyan pod and hightailed it out of there, but he said this before he left. I'll be back, you miserable wretches! Trunks knew that that would happen, but he didn't care. And Vegeta, he was laughing to himself. Oh, these weaklings have so much gusto, I love it! This is indeed going to be fun. Let's go pick up our dog's body and head on over, shall we, Nappa? With that, the Saiyans will arrive in 1 year. Okay, maybe just over a year to pick up their friend. As the pod disappeared from view, the gang breathed a sigh of relief. After all of that time training, it had proved to be worth it. Trunks' prediction was correct, and now they were stronger than ever. Don't be so sure, guys. There's more to come. That Raditz was just a start. He's got 2 more Saiyans interested in what we just did, and well, they're stronger. The gang looked utterly terrified. You knew that would happen? Why did you let him get away then? I had my reasons, but needless to say, I can help you get even stronger to stop them. And trust me, you're gonna like it. Krillin and Yamcha feel slightly relieved about this, feeling more confident in Trunks' words, but Goku was still worried with his hero's change in demeanor and outlook, and that would be even more apparent when they got to his home. Instead of being greeted with a big meal and a hug from his wife, Chi-Chi and Ox King were in hysterics. Gohan had gone. He'd been abducted while he was studying, apparently. His window was left wide open. Why would he go out like that? Goku rushed in to see signs of a struggle, but It wasn't a major one. Gohan had been able to fight back a little bit before being taken. Goku got suspicious and took Trunks aside, but Trunks already knew what he was going to say. Did you know about this too? That Gohan will be taken? Answer me, Trunks! Yeah, then why didn't you tell us? Krillin could have stayed here and guarded Gohan! Because of you, my son's missing! Did your future have this happen? Or did you let it happen? Trunks then got a real slap in the face. No, it didn't happen like that, no. Piccolo took him, but what? Why would he take him? Goku, listen. Gohan was taken by Piccolo, but for different reasons. You see? He then proceeds to explain the events of the original Raditz encounter from what he could remember to his new friend. In that, Goku had died with his brother when Gohan had shown remarkable bursts of power, and Piccolo then took him in to train him up, ready for when the Saiyans would arrive. He was preparing Gohan. That year training changed Piccolo for the better, as he realized what Gohan could do and how much of a nice person he was. He could see the good in him, and that was good for Piccolo. He was also helping us in training him up ready for the Saiyans when they came back. But now I fear that he's got other intentions in mind. I've got to find him and explain. No, says Goku sternly. I will go find him. You've done enough damage for one day. Without flinching, Goku jumps out of the bedroom window, calls out for Nimbus, and sets out on his own for finding Gohan. Trunks is left utterly sickened with himself. He'd blown it this time. Because of his actions, getting all cocky. Remind you of anyone? He had managed to save Goku's life, yeah, but Gohan's path, the person he admired the most, was changed. But that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you folks think? How will this fight between Goku and Piccolo go? Will Trunks rein in his prophecies after realizing his mistake? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!